SOMBRA, opening scenes, written by Claire Wasmund. Fade in, on nothing much, just a dark room. Faint shadows bend over the walls, flickering like shadow puppets with ill will. They dance over framed pictures to slow rhythmic breathing, broken by a whisper, then a wail. It almost sounds like a dying animal. A high-pitched wavering note of despair that drones on and on and on, past the point of concern, into the stage of irritation. A sliver of light, a dark figure is in the doorway, silhouetted in the light behind it. It takes a long breath, then speaks in a whisper.
Mrs. Solis.
No.
Mrs. Solis, I'm going to come in there.
No. Please.
Flash, lights. A minimally furnished room is dimly illuminated to us along with Reagan, mid-20s, attractive, and eerie charisma. Her eyes see all as a dark joke, especially Mrs. Solis, 60s, once a pillar of elegance, now writhes pathetically. Tears stream down her face. She clasps her bony hands in prayer, a religious corpse that can still cry.
And what seems to be the trouble, Mrs. Solis?
Tears are the answer. Reagan ambles to the bed, takes Mrs. Solis's hand without emotion, then does a half-hearted attempt to feign it in her voice.
If you tell me, I may be able to fix it.
The tears slow. Mrs. Solis gets out a choked whisper.
I was being served as the main course of a feast.
No.
I was being eaten by mouths that laughed as they chewed.
Shh.
They sucked the bones out of my fingers as I tried to pray.
They still look very bony to me.
The woman begins crying again.
Oh, they're there.
I prayed to all the saints, and none of them came to my aid.
No, they did. They sent me.
She looks into Mrs. Solis's face with mock seriousness.
They sent me. Good night.
Interior, nursing home hall, night. A photo collage of a young woman who morphs into Mrs. Solis is hung next to the door. Reagan enters, closes the door to the room, and waits. Silence. A smile. Broken by another wail of Mrs. Solis. Reagan rolls her eyes and walks off as if she hadn't heard it.
You're going to leave her there?
Mira, 20s, frumpy, plump, a bully's wet dream. She judges hand on hip. Reagan eyes her like a hawk eyes a rabbit.
Well, my shift just ended, Mira, and there isn't really anything else worth hanging out for.
Mrs. Solis continues to wail in the background.
I really can't wait until Miss Gables finds out just how little you do.
Tattling is not attractive.
I don't care.
I can tell.
Mira shifts self-consciously. Mrs. Solis keeps wailing.
You know what, Reagan? Stay put. I'll be back once I've done my job.
I'll be right here.
Mira turns and heads to Mrs. Solis's room. Interior, Mrs. Solis's room, continuous. As Mira enters, the wailing stops. Mrs. Solis looks at her, her face surprisingly devoid of tears. Mira gives her a quizzical look.
You okay, Mrs. Solis?
Yes?
Oh, I thought I heard... Never mind. Good night.
Bye-bye.
Mira pauses for a second, then closes the door and turns around. Interior, nursing home hall, continuous. To an empty hallway. No Reagan.
Bitch.
A sinister whisper comes slowly down the hall. It sounds like one voice talking over and over itself.
Tattle.
Real mature. Are you hiding from me?
A breathy laugh. Mira collects herself and walks down the hallway slowly. Every wall has a similar photo collage of young people to old. A sign says, Memory Wing. Mira peers into dark door after door. No Reagan. No Reagan. No Reagan. Just darkness. She's frustrated.
I'm so going to tell on you.
Stupid bitch.
A whisper. It's coming from a room up the hall. Mira perks up. She's found her. Trots over, swings open a door. Pitch blackness, which seems to pour out of the room to swallow Mira. Then it retreats back in. Mira gulps and reaches a hand in, looking for a light switch. Flick. Let there be light. Which reveals that the room has no Reagan. A whisper from up the hall.
Sorry, fatty.
That hurts her. There's a beat before she's able to turn off the light. Then she wipes away a frustrated tear.
Screw you, Reagan.
Laughter. Mira heads down the hall, grabs her laundry basket and stalks off. Interior, nursing home laundry room, minutes later. Bang! The lid of a washing machine closes. She turns to the dryer, her hand almost to the door. Whisper. She flips around, nothing but dark shadows on the wall.
Seriously, Reagan? This is harassment. Go home.
She turns back to the dryer, her hand almost to the door. Crack. She flies forward, face going into the dryer door. Dazed, she turns, her nose split open, blood gushing. Her eyes are blank from shock until they flicker into confused focus. Then her face slowly contorts into a scream that she doesn't get out. Slam! She's shoved back into the dryer. Again, she tries to scream, but she's unable to get out more than a choked breath. Slam! 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 Her head goes back and back into the dryer door. Suddenly, our view shifts and we no longer see Mira head on. We're restricted to watching just her shadow against the laundry room wall. Held there by a second, larger shadow, creator unknown. Choked sounds, then slam! The larger shadow slams Mira's into the wall. We go back on Mira's face, pained denial.
Someone help me.
I am helping you. I'm putting you out of your misery.
Mira is suddenly whipped around, facing the wall. Bam! Her face and busted nose go into it. More blood. She screams.
No! Please!
Lazy slob.
We're tight on Mira, we can't see who's behind her. Suddenly her arm jerks up. Her hand dives into the wound of her busted nose. She screams. The hand comes out with bloody fingers. She begins writing on the white wall. I am due. The fingers plunge back into the busted nose for more blood. Resupplied, they finish the phrase, N-E. I am done. Mira is yanked away from the wall, like a kitten lifted by the scruff of its neck. We hear a laugh.
Ugly failure, idiot, fat cow.
As it taunts her, an extension cord drops down from the ceiling beside her. Mira lets out a silent scream.
Nobody will miss you.
Bam! The laundry basket flips over. An improvised box. Mira is forced onto it. The cord goes around her neck. Her eyes plead.
This will be the most attention you ever get.
A tear, then thrum. The basket slides out. The rope goes taut, and Mira hangs. She struggles only briefly, as if suddenly resigned to her fate. We end back on a close-up of Mira's face, big, sad, confused eyes flickering before they roll back in her head.